today I'm going to be showing you how I fix my eyebrows when I overpluck them, which is very fitting because today I went a little bit tweezer happy and I ended up plucking too much. So I'm going to show you in detail how I fill in my eyebrows. I've done a video before showing you how I fill in my eyebrows, but my eyebrows weren't overplucked, so I literally just did a little bit of filling in and didn't show you much about the technique on how to make them look normal if they've been overplucked. And also when I do makeup tutorials, I always end up speeding up the eyebrow part because it's just, you know, like really boring when you're doing the same thing over and over again. But today I'm going to do it in detail in case you're interested, in case you want to know how to like fix a horrible overplucking mistake, or if you're just interested in knowing how I fill in my eyebrows. So I've zoomed in so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing, but I'm going to get a little bit closer to show you the state of my eyebrows. They're not too bad, but they're definitely overplucked. And this is what I mean. If you can see, I've overplucked over there underneath and a little bit above my eyebrow, and the same thing on there. So I don't know why I did it, but it just happened, and hopefully I'll be able to show you that it's not the end of the world, that you can fix this with makeup. The way that I like to fill in my eyebrows is with a powder, and I'm using an eyeshadow from MAC called Carbon. This is a matte black eyeshadow. It's very important that you use a matte eyeshadow because you don't want shimmer, you want it to look really natural. And the reason why I use a black powder is because my eyebrow hairs are quite dark naturally, and my roots are really dark, so I think it goes well with my face. Sometimes I like to mix in a little bit of this shade, which is called charcoal brown, and Carbon to get more like natural, especially now that I've got highlights on my hair. I think the mixture of the two of them work really well, but just use whatever you're used to using. Just make sure it is a matte powder. The tool that I use to fill in my eyebrows is this Japanese angled brush. I think it's called the angled brow brush, and I've used this for years. I'd say probably about 3-4 years now, and it's my favorite brush to fill in my eyebrows. I've tried from MAC, but this one is my absolute favorite. It's really firm, so you can get quite precise with where you're putting the powder, but the bristles are quite dense. There's quite a lot of them packed in, so it's not just a thin angled brush, which I find really frustrating when I'm trying to fill in my eyebrows. I just find that it makes them too like drawn on, and with this one I can get a lot more of a natural finish, and I love it. I couldn't talk about it enough. The third thing I'm going to be using is a spoolie, and this is from the Urban Decay Brow Beater pencil. And this is also used for filling in eyebrows. I like it, but I don't love it. I find that I break the little pencil a little bit too much when I'm filling in. So yeah, but I still like to use the spoolie on the end there. I think it's really handy to like comb the hairs and stuff. And the last thing is a little mirror, and this is just a compact mirror. So I'm gonna get started, and the first thing I like to do is to make sure that all of my brow hairs are facing the same direction. I don't want them necessarily to all face upwards because I think that sometimes gets in the way of me filling in my eyebrows, but I want to see where they're all going so that I can put the brush on the right places. Then I like to spot where all of my gaps are and just make sure that I know where I'm putting the product. Now it's time to get some powder onto my brush, and I literally just dab it once and apply the powder onto my eyebrows. I don't like to pack the brush too much with product because I find that makes it harder to fill in my eyebrows precisely. I always make mistakes when I put too much powder on the brush. I always start at the top of my eyebrow and then do the bottom. I try to even out the top first where I can see there's a bigger gap, and I put the most amount of powder on there, and I start to diffuse it by just running the brush over without any more product. It's important to line up your natural eyebrow with the powder so that it all looks really natural. Then I go in with a little bit more powder and carry on targeting those gaps and making sure that I diffuse everything properly so that it all blends in naturally. I don't put a lot of powder on the front of my eyebrows. I just find that looks better on me. The next step is to do the arch of my brow. As you can see, my eyebrows have a natural arch to them, so I don't need to do much. I just follow the line of my eyebrows, fill in any gaps or sparse areas to make sure that it looks really neat. The tail of my eyebrow is a little bit thinner than what I'd like it to be. I don't necessarily want it to be as thick as the middle or the front of my eyebrow, but I just like everything to look in proportion. Now it's time to target the bottom of my eyebrows, and this is the part where I find that I have the potential to make the most mistakes. I have to use very little product on the gaps on that area, otherwise it just looks too thick, and that's not the look I'm going for with my eyebrows. I'm not trying to change the shape or the size of my brows, I'm literally just filling in the gaps and making it all more even. The motion that I'm using on the bottom of my eyebrow is a lot gentler than on the top. I'm not putting any pressure at all on the brush, it's barely touching the hairs on my eyebrow, and that's going to deposit a lot less powder, which is exactly what I want. If you can still see any gaps, go back in with a little bit more powder, making sure that you diffuse it afterwards. Otherwise, when you put the powder on, it's going to look very heavy, very strong, and if you diffuse it, it just looks all like blended in together. If I make any mistakes and they're fixable with my finger, I run my finger lightly over my eyebrows. If not, I use a brush with a little bit of concealer on it and just wipe the mistake. So that's the one side done and the other side not done. As you can see, it makes a huge difference, especially when you've got a full face of makeup. You can tell that an eyebrow that's nicely filled in with no gaps makes your makeup look a lot more professional and a lot more put together. As with this side, it kind of looks like something is missing over there, and it definitely is. That's a good way of comparing to see what the actual results are of having your eyebrows filled in on this side and not filled in on this side. I'm just going to fill in the other eyebrow very quickly, doing exactly the same thing, and I'll come back to show you the final result. So that's both of my eyebrows done. And as you can see, they're not exactly the same, but eyebrows are not meant to look exactly the same. The old saying that eyebrows are not twins, they're sisters. So don't panic if they don't look spot on matching. As long as the general shape and the general thickness is the same, then I think they look alright. From where I'm standing, they look fine to me. The last step that I like to do, which is just to bring them out a little bit more, is to highlight underneath my brow bone. Today I'm going to be using one shadow from my Urban Decay Naked palette, and this brush from Real Techniques called the shading brush. And the eyeshadow I'm going to be using is called Virgin. This is what it looks like here. It's quite a champagne-y, shimmery shade, but not too shimmery like with glitter particles. I don't like that. It has to be a brush small enough to fit in on the bottom of your brow, and this one just about fits in on the bottom of my brow bone. And I literally just swipe a little bit of that colour from the arch to the end of my brow, and that just highlights the brow bone nicely, and I think that helps to make them look that extra little bit special. So that's it. This is how I fill in my eyebrows and fix any kind of over plucking mistakes, and this is exactly the thing that I've done for the past 3 or 4 years, I'd say, and it never fails on me. It's a routine that I'm used to. It's something that I like the way it looks on me, and as long as you find something that you look at yourself in the mirror and you're happy with, then stick with that. If you want to give this eyebrow routine of mine a try, then please let me know in the comments below if it works for you. You can even tweet or Instagram a picture of it and tag me so I can see. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you found it helpful, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you see more videos from me and you get notified whenever I upload a new video. I hope you're all having a lovely day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!